Hey people, I welcome you back to another session in the series. இதுல வந்து நம்ம interest on capital problemsலாம் solve பண்ணுவோம் and interest on capital related questionsலாம் பார்ப்போம் with respect to partnership act. First question, interest on capital will be paid to the partners if provided for in the agreement but only from எதுல இருந்து பே பண்ணலாம் அப்படின்னா profits of the year, இந்த வருஷத்தோட profitsல இருந்து பே பண்ணலாம். You cannot pay from reserves, accumulated profits, goodwill. Actually, accumulated profits or reserves is same now. So adhanale it contradicts each other. Goodwill la pay panna mudiyadhu, profits of the year. Okay. Adutha second question, A and B are partner sharing profits and losses in the ratio 3:2, having the capital of 80,000 and 50,000 respectively. They are entitled to 9% per annum interest on capital before distributing the profits. They are entitled to அப்படினா என்ன அர்த்தம்? அக்ரிமெண்ட்ல கொடுத்திருக்குன்னு அர்த்தம். During the year, the firm earned 7,800 after allowing interest on capital. Profits apportion amongst A and B's. Children, this is a tricky question. என்ன சொல்றாங்கன்னா interest on capital information கொடுத்துட்டு interest on capital கொடுத்ததுக்கு அப்புறம் profit வந்து 7,800 கேக்குறாங்க. அப்ப ஏக்கும் பிக்கும் எவ்வளவு ப்ராஃபிட்ஸ் போகணும்? So it's very simple. Interest on capital கொடுத்து முடிச்சதுக்கு அப்புறம் மிச்சம் இருக்க ப்ராஃபிட்ஸ் profit sharing ratio பிரிச்சு கொடுத்துருங்க. So 7,800 into 3/5 for A, 7,800 into 2/5 for B. So A is the correct answer. Okay. Adutha, Mr. A is a partner in a firm along with B. Both contributed capitals of 40,000 and 50,000 respectively on the 1st of July 2009. Okay. Interest on capital is to be charged at 10% per annum. Books of accounts are to be closed on 31st December. Interest on capital எவ்வளவுன்னு கேக்குறாங்க. See, this is a really nice question. இதுல என்ன விஷயம்னா பார்க்கும்போது ரொம்ப சிம்பிளா இருக்கும். அதாவது 10% per annum இன்ட்ரெஸ்ட் அவ்வளவுதானே. ஸோ 40,000 பிளஸ் 50,000 90,000. அதுல 10% போட்டா ஆன்சர் வராது. ஏன் அப்படின்னா ஃபார்ம் எப்போ ஸ்டார்ட் பண்றாங்க? 1st of July ஸ்டார்ட் பண்றாங்க அண்ட் 31st December வரைக்கும் போகுது. ஜூலை, ஆகஸ்ட், செப்டம்பர், அக்டோபர், நவம்பர், டிசம்பர் 6 மாசம். ஸோ 6 மாசத்துக்கு இன்ட்ரெஸ்ட் மட்டும்தான் இன்ட்ரெஸ்ட் கால்குலேட் பண்ணணும். அண்ட் லக்கிலி ஏக்கு எவ்வளவு இன்ட்ரெஸ்ட், பிக்கு எவ்வளவுன்னு கேட்கல. அப்போ மொத்தமாவே போட்டுடலாம் நம்ம 90,000 into 10/100 into July to December 6 months. So 6/12. So அப்போ cancel 4,500 is the interest on capital. சரி, அடுத்து fourth question. Interest on capital subscribed by a partner may be provided for in the partnership deed is 6% per annum, 8% per annum, 8.5% per annum. Any rate provided is payable out of profits, only out of profits. It's true. D தான் correct answer. அதாவது interest on capital வந்து எவ்வளவுனாலும் கொடுக்கலாம். Any rate provided out of the profits out of the in the agreement can be provided. Okay, so இவ்வளவுதான் கொடுக்கணும் interest on capital அப்படின்னு எந்த ரூலும் கிடையாது. So D தான் correct answer. அடுத்து interest on partners capital is அது என்னது அப்படின்னு கேட்டா it is an appropriation of profits unless otherwise mentioned. Sometimes it can be agreementல வந்து it is a charge against profit போடலாம். Unless otherwise mentioned, it is an appropriation of profits. Interest on capital at 6% per annum is to be allowed. Capital in the beginning was 3 lakh. Interest amount will be very simple. 3 lakh opening capital and the 6% per annum போட்டுனா ஒரு வருஷத்துக்கு போட்டீங்கன்னா ஆன்சர் கிடைச்சிடும் 18,000. Simple. Okay, very simple. இந்த மாதிரிலாம் क्वेश्चन எதிர்பார்க்காதீங்க எக்ஸாம்ல. அடுத்து A, B and C were sharing profits and losses in the ratio 2:1. They have fixed capitals of 3 lakh, 2 lakh and 1 lakh respectively. After closing the accounts for the year ended, it was decided that interest on capital was provided. Okay. My dear children, this is actually a P&L adjustment question. நான் அதை டீல் பண்ணும்போது இதை பண்றேன். If I don't want to confuse with what we are doing, so we will do next question. X and Y are partners in the ratio. X and Y are partners in the ratio 3:2. Their capitals are 2 lakh and 1 lakh respectively. Interest on capital 8% per annum. Firm incurred a loss of 60,000 for the year. Interest on capital will be profits இருந்தா தான் interest on capital கொடுக்க முடியும். கரெக்டா? இப்போ இந்த இடத்துல interest on capital is allowed at 8% per annum as a charge அப்படின்னு சொல்லியிருந்தாங்கன்னா full interest on capital 2 lakh 1 lakhலயும் 8% கொடுத்துருப்போம். But just as a charge in solla. When they have not mentioned interest on capital as a charge, then no interest on capital is to be allowed in case of loss. Profit இருந்தா தான் கொடுக்க முடியும். So no interest on capital will be allowed. Okay. Moving on to the next question, 9th question. Virat and Anushka are partners. Wow, Virat and Anushka are partners in a firm sharing profits and losses in the ratio 2:1. Their capital balance were 1 lakh and 8 lakh respectively. The firm made profits during the year amounting to 3,45,000. Both the partners are allowed salary of 2,500 per month. Interest on capital is allowed at 5% on capital balance. Calculate closing capital balance of Virat and Anushka. Supposed to be a capital question, but anyway, we can do this. Not a big deal. Or what to do? Interest on capital calculate பண்ணனும்ன்றதுக்காக இதை இதுல பண்ண வேணாம். Capital accounts னு ஒரு question section இருக்கு. அதுல பண்ணிக்கலாம். Okay. அந்த வீடியோல பண்ணலாம். I don't want to waste time. Okay. Just want to do what is required. The capital balance of a partner at the end of the year after adjusting for his drawings. This is a good question. And his share in profit 2,300 is 12,000. Interest on capital is payable to him at 5% per annum. What will be the interest on capital? Ipo capital balance at the end of the year 12,000 சொல்லிட்டாங்க. Interest on capital 5% சொல்லிட்டாங்க. அப்போ 12,000ல 5% போட்டுறலாமா அப்படின்னு கேட்டா you are not supposed to do that. ஏன்னா interest on capital is always calculated on the opening capital. So closing capital கொடுத்திருக்காங்க. End of the yearல வந்து closing capital கொடுத்திருக்காங்க. Closing capital இருந்து opening capital எப்படி வருது? Closing capital add drawings, reduce share of profits to arrive at opening capital. So closing capital எவ்வளோ 12,000. Add drawings எவ்வளோ 3,500. Reduce share of profits எவ்வளோ 2,300. 3,500, 1,200, 13,200. 13,200 வருது. So your this thing will be 12,000 plus 3,500 minus 2,300, 13,200. This is opening capital. Opening capital of 5% per annum. So 5% per annum, no? 660 rupees. A is the correct answer. Okay. In case they haven't given the opening capital, calculate opening capital. Okay. Pen and pencil were two partners. They drew for their personal use rupees 1,20,000 and 80,000. Interest is chargeable. Interest on drawing question. And the sum adu podumbodhu paakalam. Lappy and Tappy are partners sharing profits and having capital interest on capital. Okay, this is an interest on capital question. Lappy and Tappy are partners sharing profits and losses in the ratio 3:2, having capital account balance of 50,000 and 40,000. On 1st July, Lappy introduced 10,000 as his additional capital, whereas Tappy introduced only 1,000. Interest on capital is allowed at 10% per annum. Interest on capital will be very easy. For Lappy, if you have to calculate the capital account balance of 50,000 from the beginning of the year, 50,000 into 10% per annum will give you 5,000. அப்புறம் additional capital invest பண்ணிருக்காங்களா எவ்வளோ 10,000, அதுல ஒரு 10% அது வந்து 1,000. So total interest on capital for Lappy will be 6,000. பார்த்தீங்களா இந்த மாதிரி தான் தப்பு பண்ணக்கூடாது. ஓகே, லாப்பி வந்து அடிஷனல் கேபிட்டல் எப்போ இன்வெஸ்ட் பண்ணோம் 1st July. இயர் எண்டிங் வந்து 31st March. அப்போ ஜூலைல இருந்து மார்ச் வரைக்கும் எவ்வளோ ஜூலை, ஆகஸ்ட், செப்டம்பர், அக்டோபர், நவம்பர், டிசம்பர், ஜனவரி, பிப்ரவரி, மார்ச், 9 months. So 9/12. So இது வந்து 1,000 into 9/12, 1,000 into 3/4, 750. So this will be 5,750 is the total interest payable to Lappy. And for Tappy, it is he had 40,000 in the beginning. So 40,000 into 10/100, 10/100. 4,000 on the opening capital. He introduced 1,000 into 10 by 100 into 9 by 12. ஏன்னா அவனும் வந்து ஜூலைல தான் இன்ட்ரடியூஸ் பண்ணியிருக்கான். 75. So 4,075. So A is the correct answer. Okay. All right. Put it back where it was. Okay. 13th question. A and B are partners sharing profits and losses in the ratio 3:2, having capitals of 15 lakh and 10 lakh respectively. As on as on 31/3/2021. In the question, they have given the closing capital. Drawings during the year were 30,000 and 20,000. Capital introduced during the year 3 lakh and 2 lakh, which was be treated as a credit balance of their current account. Okay, nice. If the rate of interest on capital is 7% per annum, then the amount of interest on capital of A and B are. அப்படின்னு கேட்டிருக்காங்க. In this question, there is fixed capital of 15 lakh and 10 lakh. When there is fixed capital of a certain amount, just interest on capital on the just calculate it on the fixed capital. So 15 lakh into 7% will give you 1,05,000 and 70,000. That is your answer. So C. Okay. Moving forward. Let's put this back where it was. Okay. Higher. Okay. Question number 14. Given below the statement, one labeled as assertion and the other labeled as reason. Okay, fine. Aditi and Bhakti have capitals of 4 lakh and 2 lakh respectively. As per the partnership agreement, interest on capital will be allowed at the rate of 6% per annum. The profit sharing ratio is 2:3. The net profit during the year is calculated. They've given the question. They've given the question. I hope that the reason is the answer. As for P&L appropriation account, Aditi will be allowed as 20,000 and Bhakti will be allowed 10,000 as interest on capital. So basically, they've given you a question. Actually, it's not even an assertion and reason thing. Many assertion reason questions prepared by a lot of people are like that only. But anyway, 6 lakhs is the total capital on which they are supposed to allow 6% interest. So that comes to around 36,000. The profit available is only 30,000. So it is insufficient. So whatever profit is available, it will be divided in the capital ratio. Capital ratio is 4 lakh is to 2 lakh, which is 2:1. 4:2 or 2:1. So that 30,000 available profit will be divided in the ratio of 2:1, which is 20,000 and 10,000. This is correct. But how can you say this is correct or not? It's not an universal truth. Anyway, I hope you got the idea of what they're trying to convey. Don't worry, CBSE will not ask such questions. Definitely. Hoping. Arun and Nipun are partners with capitals of 25,000 and 15,000 respectively. Interest payable on capital is 10% per annum. Find the interest on capital for both the partners when the profits earned by the firm is 2,400. Similar question. Total capital எவ்வளோ இருக்கு அப்படின்னா 25,000 plus 15,000. 40,000 இருக்கு. 40,000ல 10% per annumனா you need 40,000. 4,000 rupees. Minimum profit to pay interest on capital. ஆனா இங்க இருக்கிற interest on capital 2,400 தான். 2,400 தான் நம்ம கிட்ட இருக்கு அப்படின்ற போது என்ன பண்ணணும், நம்ம இருக்கிற ப்ராஃபிட்டை கேபிட்டல் ரேஷியோல பிரிச்சு கொடுக்கணும். கேபிட்டல் ரேஷியோ ஆனது 25:15 or 5:3. 2,500 into 5/8. 2,400 into 5/8 will be given to Arun. 300, 1,500 and 900 is the correct answer. Understood, children? Question number 17. A partner introduced additional capital of 1 lakh in the firm on 1st July. The interest on capital will be received by him on 31st March. Will be. Too small. I hope, I don't know if you're able to see. Let's see. A partner introduced additional capital of 1 lakh on 1st July. Wow, this is a really nice question. They have not given the rate of interest, which means that interest on capital need not be provided as per the agreement. If the agreement is silent, the partner will be provided nil, no interest on capital. Okay. Understood, children? Okay, moving on. 18th question. How many questions are there? Okay. 26 varaikkum. 8 more questions. Come on, let's do it. 18th question. A, B, and C are partners sharing profits in the ratio 5:3:2 with fixed capital of 80, 60, and 20. Partners are entitled to interest on capital at the rate of 10% per annum. During the year, the firm earned a profit of 11,200. Children, same question. Question of insufficient profits to pay interest. So 80,000, 60,000, 20,000 is the total capital. So total capital in the firm is 1,60,000. That's interest kudukonu appadina you need 10% interest kudukonu, you need 16,000 as profits, but 11,200 தான் profits இருக்கு. So அப்ப இருக்கிற profit என்ன பண்ணணும்? Capital ratio பிரிச்சு கொடுக்கணும். 8:6:2 அப்படின்னா 4:3:1. கரெக்டா? இருக்கிற profit எவ்வளவு? 1,12,000 into 4/8. 8 times போமா? ஒரு தடவை போகும். 3 4 தடவை போகும். 14 14 into 4 5600. 11,200 தான், 2 0 தான். 1,400 into 4 is 5,600. 5,600 only answer. A, B. Okay. All right, children. Place it there. Okay, bring it out. X, Y, and are partners with the capitals of. Oh, it's getting boring, man. Same. Insufficient profits. 2 lakh plus 1 lakh is 3 lakh. 3 lakh plus 6% na 18,000 தேவைப்படும். ஆனா இருக்கிறதே 9,000 தான். அப்போ அந்த 9,000 என்ன ரேஷியோல பிரிச்சு கொடுக்கணும்? கேபிட்டல் ரேஷியோல 2:1 ரேஷியோல. So 9,000 into 2/3, 6,000 and 3,000 is the answer, man. Easy. If you have any doubts, you can ask me. Okay, this is easy, just like previous problem we have to do. Moving forward, 7 more questions. Interest on capital account of partners when the firm follows fluctuating capital account method is credited to. Fluctuating capital method na ரெண்டு capital account தான். சரி ஒரே ஒரு capital account தான். அதுல தான் எல்லா என்ட்ரிஸும் போடணும். பார்ட்னர்ஸ் ஓட capital account. ஃபிக்ஸட்னா capital account current account ரெண்டு இருக்கும். அப்போ வந்து interest on capital வந்து current accountல போடணும். பட் இது fluctuating methodனால capital accountல போடணும். So this is also done. Take it back. Okay, nice. 21st question. P and Q are partners in a firm with a capital balance of 1,20,000 and 80,000 respectively. Deed provides for interest the rate of 5% per annum. At the end of the year, they suffer a loss of 20,000. The amount of interest given to partners will be no interest is given. ஏன்னா அவசரப்பட்டு நம்ம 20,000 வந்து கேபிட்டல் ரேஷியோல பிரிச்சு கொடுத்துட்டோம்னு வச்சுக்கோங்க, பிரச்சனை இருக்கும். பிகாஸ் they suffer a loss அப்படின்னு சொல்லியிருக்காங்க. ஸோ லாஸ் இருக்கும்போது அதாவது இன்சபிஷியன்ட் ப்ராஃபிட்ஸா இருந்தா அவைலபிள் ப்ராஃபிட்ஸை வந்து பிரிச்சு கொடுப்போம். கரெக்டா இல்லையா? அதே இது லாஸா இருந்துச்சுன்னா ப்ராஃபிட்ஸே அவைலபிள் இல்லை, there is nothing. அப்ப எதை பிரிச்சு கொடுக்குறது? ஸோ nothing, no share. அடுத்து this question. In order to compensate a partner for contributing capital to the firm in excess of the profit sharing ratio, firm pays such interest on capital. Interest on capital is treated as a charge against profit. The reason is definitely wrong because interest on capital is an appropriation of profit unless otherwise mentioned. So there you go. That is the 23rd. A and B are equal partners with capitals of 2 lakh and 1 lakh respectively. As per deed, they are allowed interest of 8% per annum, 8% on capital. During the year, the firm earned a profit of 12,000. Interest on capital allowed to A and B will be 8%, 2 lakh plus 1 lakh, 3 lakh is A and B's capital. 3 lakhல 8% அப்படின்னா 24,000 வருது. ஆனா கேஸ் ஆஃப் இன்சஃபிஷியன்ட் ப்ராஃபிட்ஸ் 12,000 தான் ப்ராஃபிட் இருக்கு. அப்போ எவ்வளோ இன்ட்ரெஸ்ட் அண்ட் கேபிட்டல் கொடுப்போம்? இருக்கிற 12,000 2:1 ரேஷியோல பிரிச்சு கொடுப்போம். 12,000 into 2/3, 4,000 into 2, 8,000 and 4,000 are the answers. Similar question now. Same concept repeated. Anyway, but good practice for you people. நீங்க போட்டு பார்க்கலாம். Interest on partner's capital account is credited to partner's capital account. ரொம்ப கேர்ஃபுல்லா இருக்கணும். இந்த இடத்துல டெபிட்டட் டுன்னு போட்டிருந்தாங்கன்னு வச்சுக்கோங்க, அப்ப இன்ட்ரெஸ்ட் ஆன் கேபிட்டல் அக்கௌண்ட் ஆன்சர். சரியா? ஸோ பி கேர்ஃபுல். In the absence of partnership deed or profit and loss appropriation, debited னு போட்டோம்னா profit and loss appropriation account or interest on capital account. Credited னா partners capital account. இது fixed capital method னா partners current account. Okay. இங்க in the absence of partnership deed, a partner is entitled to get interest on capital at the rate of none of these. No interest on capital. Partnership agreement silent இருந்தா. Okay. We have come to the end of this session. 26th question we are solving. G and HR partners sharing profits and losses equally. Their capitals of 5 lakh and 2 lakh respectively. On October 1st, they decided to make their capitals equal at 3 lakh. Okay. Investing, withdrawing, whatever the case may be. The deed provides interest on capital to be payable at 6% per annum. Nice question. கொஞ்சம் மூளை யூஸ் பண்ணா ஈஸியா போட்டுடலாம். So 1st October வரைக்கும் 5 lakh தான் capital, correct? So 5 lakh into 6% into 1st October வரைக்கும்னா April, May, June, July, August, September 6 மாசம். 6/12. இது வந்து Gக்கு. அதுக்கப்புறம் 3 lakh தான் அவனோட கேபிட்டல். 3 lakh மீதி மாசங்களுக்கு 3 lakh தான் அவனோட கேபிட்டல். ஸோ 3 lakh into 6% into 6/12. ஏன்னா அக்டோபர், நவம்பர், டிசம்பர், ஜனவரி, பிப்ரவரி, மார்ச் 6 மாசம். 9,000. ஏஜ்க்கு வந்து கடைசி 6 மாசத்துல 2 பேருக்கு ஈக்குவல் கேபிட்டல், அதனால சேம் இன்ட்ரெஸ்ட் ஆன் கேபிட்டல். ஏஜ்க்கு வந்து முதல்ல 2 lakh இஸ் இஸ் கேபிட்டல் into 6% into 6/12. ஏன்னா அக்டோபர் வரைக்கும் தான் 2 லட்சம், அதுக்கப்புறம் 1 லட்சம் எக்ஸ்ட்ரா இன்வெஸ்ட் பண்ணிருக்கோம். So the total interest on capital payable to H is 15,000, to G is 24,000. So B is the correct answer. So this played with the words and all that, but otherwise it's also a very, very ordinary interest on capital question. Okay. All right, children. With that, we have come to the end of interest on capital. Next, we'll be solving interest on drawings in the upcoming video. See you till then. Goodbye.